We're good. So I just want to tell you before we start all this how incredibly proud I am. I know this has been a year filled with so many ups and downs and hurdles, including phones cracking and having to reduce speech to last second, including always technology challenges that we've had a lot to say. And I just want you to know I'm so proud of you for this year, but also the cancer talk, because I've only known you a couple of years, but I know he's known you since you were each of you are just so incredible, and I feel incredibly blessed to be able to mark this occasion. So what I would like you to do right now is I'm giving you this
Wait, you guys cover.
Yeah, what I mean, good to see your brother and everybody.
Volume and everything?
Put the video on.
You want to put it on?
What do you mean?
Here, start video. Unable to detect, you got to do the camera and then do that. There you are. Put it like that way.
Just put your line.
Yeah, right there.
Yep. Thanks to Tina. Yeah, die.
Yeah.
And Cole and Carrie.
Mute your microphone. Okay. Mute.
Sorry, yours is last there.
Thank you. ברוכות הבאות תחת כנפי השכינה, ברוכים הבאים תחת כנפי השכינה. May you be blessed beneath the wings of Shekhinah. Be blessed with love, be blessed with peace. ברוכות הבאות תחת כנפי השכינה, ברוכים הבאים תחת כנפי השכינה. May you be blessed beneath the wings of Shekhinah. Be blessed with love, be blessed with peace. Hinei ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
It is such a delight to be here in our holy space with every single one of you. And for all of you who are online with us, for you to be present as we can celebrate the holiday of Shavuot, of receiving the 10 Commandments, the holiday of our 6 phenomenal teens leading us and teaching us a little bit about their Jewish journey and their Torah that they have to teach. This is a moment that is so sacred that we have been waiting for, to be able to be here. And while it feels really, really good to be here, there are some things that we need to keep in mind as we go through the service. And one of them, which is a little bit painful, is that while whoever is leading the prayers from up here can sing and speak loudly and do what they're doing, as a congregation, we're highly discouraged from being able to do communal singing, and we look forward to the day where we won't have any of that to worry about. We're just not quite there yet, so we really appreciate your thoughtfulness with all of that. But the most important thing is that we are here, that we can celebrate this moment. And so we are going to begin our service by hearing one of the speeches. So basically we have these 6 confirmands, and so there's going to be 6 speeches over the course of this service that are interspersed so that we can hear their words of wisdom. And we are going to actually move ahead to Sarah Takami and her drash first. So Sarah, I want to invite you up here to lead us.
Becoming a confirmand is important because it helps solidify my ongoing commitment to my Jewish identity, community, and those I care about and love. Perhaps one of the greatest lessons I've learned from my Jewish studies is to love one another regardless of sexual orientation or religious identity. Being a Jew to me means that I learn from the teachings of Judaism and get to experience the knowledge of Jewish leaders such as Rabbi, Cantor, and my teachers while developing my personal relationship with God and participating in this community. During my brother's bar mitzvah, my Zaidi remarked on a comment I had made when I was just 8 years old. Apparently, I made a point of declaring that I was both half Japanese and that I was a Jew. This moment stands out in my mind because I felt quite isolated as one of the few Jewish kids at my elementary school. I remember a day in first grade when a former friend had minimized the importance of Hanukkah during chorus. However, what stands out most in my mind from that day is the discussion about prejudice that I had with my whole family in my brother's room that evening. Experiences like this and others throughout middle school made it difficult for me to be fully open about my Judaism until fairly recently. The strength and openness I feel about my Jewish identity now, I attribute to serving as a madricha, teaching younger kids, maturing through quarantine, prioritizing my well-being, and appreciating the open family and community in which I was raised. My journey within Judaism started and has continued here at Temple Bethel, surrounded by this special group of people. Since age 2, I've grown in my understanding of Jewish teachings, myself, and the world through these hallowed spaces and a rich collection of experiences. I've always felt at home in this community because of the open way in which I've been encouraged to explore my Jewish identity and learn from stories of the Torah while deepening my respect and appreciation for others' beliefs. I'm reminded of how Abraham and Sarah gathered everyone in the Jewish community, people from all kinds of backgrounds, before the Torah was given at the top of Mount Sinai. 2 examples of my personal journey at TBE come to mind. First, the Spedi and Yaldei Shalom lock-in following the Purim Carnival in 2018 has special meaning because it helped me feel a strong sense of community with a group of people completely separate from my secular school. Second, I was so moved by the gospel choir performance in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, which took place the Friday evening before my bat mitzvah. That performance reminded me of the extent to which our synagogue is open to inviting people of other faiths into our sacred spaces and how we affirm tolerance and acceptance. I stand here this afternoon strengthened in my Jewish identity and in my beliefs to welcome the stranger, accept myself and others, and be grateful for the love and support of my family and Jewish community. I'm also proud to be a part of a class that has persevered together through many years of study and the unforeseen circumstances of the last year. Thank you.
Such incredible words, and we are absolutely blown away to be able to start this service with everything that you have taught us, Sarah. We are going to go into our call to worship, the Baruch Hu prayer, which you can find in your prayer books if you're following along through the physical books. It's on page 394.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed Le'olam va'ed Yalalai lai lai 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 Yalalai lai lai.
On page 396, Cole will continue with Ma'ariv Aragim.
Praised are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
And on the next page, 398, Aaron will lead us in Ahavat Olam.
Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people, Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Amen. These words of Ahavat Olam have a special resonance today because it is all about God's eternal love. And how does God show us eternal love? But through giving us the Torah, which is what this holiday is all about. So I'd like to invite up Maxine to teach us a little bit about her Torah.
It's difficult to articulate the many ways in which Judaism has affected my life, or at least fit it into a few brief words, but I'll try. From celebrating holidays with family to going to camp and becoming bat mitzvah, Judaism has intimately shaped the person that I have become. Something I want to talk about in particular that I feel I've learned from Temple Bethel and the greater Reformed Jewish community is the power of choices. First, that I have the power to make informed choices in my life. I remember my very first bat mitzvah prep meeting I ever had with Cantor and my parents, and before we even started ever talking about the service or the Torah portion, I was asked point blank, did I want to do this? And to me, that is very special. Not a lot of kids who grew up in organized religion can really say that they got a choice. My answer was yes, and I've never once regretted that decision. Secondly, I don't want to jinx it, but I think I've learned something about making good choices. That good choices that will positively affect myself and those around me. To me, being confirmed is a promise to remember everything that I've learned from everyone here and everyone that came before me. I don't know what the future of my Judaism is going to look like, but I think what I've learned from growing up Jewish and in the Temple Bethel community have transcended whether or not I go to temple every Friday when I'm older. I remember one lesson we had with Cantor a few years ago when he talked about keeping your Judaism in mind. I'm paraphrasing, but in short, that no matter where life takes you, if you end up practicing consistently or barely at all, keep your Jewishness in the back of your mind and let it guide you. Let it be a small voice in the back of your head and let it help you make good choices. And I think I will.
Thank you so much, Maxine. We continue with the words of the Shema, words that are so central to our faith, and I'd love to invite up Sarah to lead us in this prayer. We are on page 400.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך.
והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך.
ושיננת אבניך ודיברתם בם, ושיבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך.
וקשבתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם.
אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים.
אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
The Via Hafta prayer, of course, is about passing down Torah, passing down tradition from one generation to the next, and hearing these words sung by many of our confirmands is really powerful. Of course, there was one little sound issue, and so Aaron was leading the silent version between the first and second paragraph. Sorry about that, but it's really meaningful that your voices could all be part of that prayer. And so I'd like to call up Sarah once more to teach us some Torah in the form of her confirmation speech.
My journey at Temple Bethel began when I was just about a couple of months old. I was Rabbi Leib's very last baby that he had named before he had gotten really sick and had to retire. Then about 3 years after my baby naming, I started half-pint Havurah with Cantor. During these moments of my life is where I had met all of my friends who are all here with me today. During half-pint, we learned how to make challah, read stories, but most of all, we spent quality time together learning about our Jewish identity and who we are as Jews. Then about 2 years go by, and I'm officially enrolled in Torah school. We shared so many fun memories that I will never forget. The teachers who taught me are the ones that helped me to make this decision of continuing on with my Jewish experience. After about 6 years of being in Torah school, it was finally time to prepare for my bat mitzvah. This is where my childhood was turning into a Jewish adult. Right before I had started preparing for my bat mitzvah was when life for me started to go downhill. In 2018 when I was first diagnosed with a mental health disorder. After this really hard diagnosis, I wasn't too sure about having a bat mitzvah, but because of everything I was going through. But after so many talks with counselors, therapists, friends, and Cantor, I decided that I was going to push myself forward and was ready to have my bat mitzvah after all my struggles that I was going through. After all of that had happened, I started talking to Cantor, and we started to prepare for this special day. Almost after a year of dedication and hard work, I became bat mitzvah, and I felt super proud of myself for what I had done, and that I was able to get through this very big moment in my life. Through all those ups and downs, this taught me that I'm not alone, and that there are so many people in this world and in our community that struggle, just like this pandemic has made us all feel in so many different ways. After I had my bat mitzvah, I made the choice of continuing through to my confirmation year. This is where all of my life journeys had led me to today. I have always been asked this question: what does being Jewish mean to me? And what do you know? Rabbi had asked us the same question a couple of weeks ago. Some people would ask, does it mean learning Hebrew, lighting the Shabbat candles, reading a prayer book from left to right, or going to Shavuot services every night? Well, being Jewish is more than knowing who Adam and Eve are. To me, being Jewish is having an understanding of the importance of our religion and embracing ourselves to the world and speaking up for ourselves in times of need. When I was little, I always loved being part of the Temple's community and just being Jewish in general. But now as I'm a lot older, I have a lot of different feelings and perspectives about being Jewish. As some of you may know, I have one parent who is Jewish, my mom, and one who isn't, my dad. This never really affected me when I was little, but when my high school year started was when things got a little scary and more uncomfortable. Sadly, we all know that there's a lot of hate against Jews in this world, and I unfortunately have gone through this at least once in my life. Last year, I had gotten bullied twice because I was wearing a Star of David necklace, and a kid in one of my classes wasn't happy that I was Jewish. I let it slide the first time it happened, but once it happened again, I knew I had to stand up for myself and do what was right for me. I had gone to my counselor at school, and everything was taken care of, and has not happened again since. Just because there's so much hate in this world, I try my hardest to not let this bother me and to continue living my best Jewish life that I can. Another question that the rabbi had asked us that I thought I should bring up is, what does being confirmed mean to you? Being confirmed means so many different things to me. Being confirmed means that I am completing my temple journey as a teen and shows that I can complete something without other things getting in my way and showing others who I really am as a person and as a kind and happy human being. Being confirmed also means that I am the first and the youngest grandchild in my family that's being confirmed at the temple throughout many of my family's generations. I can also say that this pandemic has helped me show who I am as a confirmation student and that we can all get through this tough time together. As I reflect on my Jewish resilience and growth, I can say that if I didn't experience what I had gone through in my life would be totally different and not really sure where I would be heading to right now. Lastly, I wanted to thank Rabbi Cassie, Cantor Lon, my mom, and my grandparents for helping me reach my goal as being a Jew that not only enjoys going to temple almost every day, but becoming who I am and what being Jewish really is. Without all of their hard work, I couldn't have gone through without them. Thank you.
We continue with Micha Mocha on page 406. Micha Mocha ba'im Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot פלא, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לבני משה ומרים, זה לי יענו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כבוד אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Now we hear some more words of Torah, and I want to invite Cole up to offer his speech.
For me, what it means to be confirmed is to take my next step in my Jewish journey. From being around temple since before I can remember, I have made many great memories leading up to this event now of being confirmed. From a young age, spending lots of time in class with some great teachers and learning to read Torah, learning about God, working my way up to having a bar mitzvah, have made me embrace and appreciate my Jewish journey that much more. Being surrounded by many great friends as well made the experience at temple a whole lot better too. Over the years, I've learned from many teachers what it means to be Jewish. What I've concluded is that being Jewish is not just having the title, but representing a culture and religion in the best way possible. I've also learned the importance of carrying on the traditions of my family members. Being Jewish means gathering together for important milestones as a family, as well as participating in Jewish holidays and traditions. These core values that I've learned over the years at Temple and also from my family has made me the person I am today. As I look back on the years I've spent in this community, there are many memories that I think of. I remember learning with my friends, having fun at special events, participating in various holiday activities, also going away for camp weekend, and just being part of a community that feels like family. I am grateful for all these experiences, and I look forward to continuing my Jewish journey in the years to come.
Thank you so much, Cole. We turn to our Amidah, and I invite everyone to stand either in body or spirit as we call up Maxine and then Sarah and then Eli to lead us. We begin on page 468.
Adonai sefatai tifta ufi agi tehilateha. Adonai sefatai tifta ufi agi tehilateha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotinu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Bekonei hakol, bezocher chastei avot v'imaot, umevi gedula lifnei v'neihem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen. Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah.
Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayecha kol ata rav lehoshia, mori hatal, mechayecha im bechesed, mechayecha kol berachamim rabim, somech noflim veroche cholim, umatir asurim, umachayem emumato, lishene afar. Michamo haba gevurot, umido melach, melech memid, umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'ata l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol.
On page 475. Prayer is not purely an act. All things pray, and all things pour forth their souls. The heavens pray, the earth prays, every creature and every living thing. In all life there is longing. Creation is itself but a longing, a kind of prayer to the Almighty. What are the clouds, the rising and setting of the sun, the soft radiance of the moon, and the gentleness of the night? What are the flashes of the human mind and the storms of the human heart? They are all prayers, the wordless outpouring of boundless longing for God. Praised is the light that shines before us, through us, and after us.
Page 496. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם. אלוהי ציון לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גולך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We turn to page 478. Atar v'chartanu mikol ha'amim. You have chosen us in love and favor by making us holy through your mitzvot and drawing us close to your service, that through us your great and holy name may become known in all the earth. In your love, Adonai, our God, you have given us feasts of gladness and seasons of joy, this festival of Shavuot, season of our receiving Torah, to unite and worship and recall the Exodus from Egypt. On page 481, Many generations later, redeemed from slavery, Abraham and Sarah's descendants stood at Mount Sinai. The ancient promise was to be confirmed, the ancient mandate reasserted and enlarged, the ancient covenant renewed and sealed to bind all future generations. When God revealed the Torah, no bird chirped, no fowl beat its wings, no ox bellowed. The angels did not sing, the sea did not stir, no creature uttered a sound. The world was silent and still, and the divine voice spoke, I, the Eternal, am your God.
Zochreinu Adonai Eloheinu bo letova.
This day,
Amen.
remember us for well-being. Amen.
Ufakdeinu vo livracha.
This day, bless us with your nearness. Amen.
Vehoshienu vo lechayim.
This day, help us to a fuller life, and together let us say,
Amen.
Page 482.
Retzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael. Retzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael. Utfilatam be'ahava tekabel. Utfilatam be'ahava tekabel. Retzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael. Utehi leratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Utehi leratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Retzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael. Retzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael.
Please take a few moments for your private meditations. You may be seated if you wish.
Shalom Rab.
טסים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, המברך את עמו ישראל. השלום, שלום, שלום ישראל לך, טסים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל לך, טסים לעולם. טסים לעולם. טסים לעולם.
On this holiday where the world so desperately needs peace, hearing the voices of our teen choir, I know brought a tear to many of our eyes, because there is peace and sanctity within these walls, and by that I mean our Zoom walls as well, for everyone who is here, right? Our walls have expanded, and what a blessing that is. But for our teen choir who can't all be here in person, to nonetheless be part of this service through their voices, I hope gives us a sense of peace and a sense of deep connection. And I know that Eli has a few words of Torah that he's going to share with us now as well that speak somewhat to this connection.
To be confirmed means to be more than just an individual goal. It is to step up into the greater picture of the Jewish people. Like taking the training wheels off of a bike, I am leaping forward into my Jewish journey by myself. Well, not completely by myself. Of course, I always have these people around me, my confirmands. Sarah Gill, a very smart and creative person who is very quiet but knows a lot to say. Maxine, a very articulate and artsy person who doesn't mind telling you if you are wrong. I am very thankful for that because I know I can be very wrong at times. Cole, someone who likes to be loud and explosive in his actions and accomplishments, but not really in words. Sarah Takami, a very specific and precise person who is very caring at the same time. Lastly, Aaron. I feel like you could secretly beat any of us in any kind of anything, but you just sit back and don't want to embarrass anyone. I am proud of myself and these people to represent the Jewish community. We accept all people into our world of religion. And through being confirmed, I understand that any minority, sorority, or either in between can be part of our Jewish family. Being Jewish isn't a question of I, but an understanding of we, or something bigger than oneself.
Certainly is. Thank you, Eli. In just a moment from now, we are going to begin our Torah service. And although we're not going to be able to take it down and parade it around as we normally would, we will feel that parade in our hearts, I think, as we take it out. But the whole act of taking this Torah out and reading from the Ten Commandments is to actually represent us standing there. And indeed, we will actually be invited to rise in body or spirit as we hear the words of the Ten Commandments, because it is if each of us are standing on Mount Sinai. In the Torah, it teaches that every single person was there. Rather, in the commentaries on the Torah, it teaches that every single person was present. People who had been alive ages ago, people who are currently there, and everyone in the future who are Jewish will become Jewish or connect themselves with Am Yisrael, with people Israel. And that every single individual who is present hears the words of Torah slightly differently. The only way that we can truly connect to all of Revelation is by hearing one another's words of Torah. And so today we have now heard words of Torah from many people within our community. And as we hear these 10 commandments chanted by all of our confirmands, it is my hope that we can hear our own words of Torah as well. So we're going to take the Torah scroll out now, and I invite you to rise as we do so. The Torah scroll that we're using The Torah scroll that we're using is going to be our check scroll, our Holocaust scroll, because it is a scroll of strength. And if this year has shown us anything, it has shown us how incredibly strong our students and truly all of us are. So we're going to read from this Torah for that reason. There we go. Yes. All right. Okay, so each of our confirmands will be called to their own aliyah of words of Torah, and each of them will chant as well. You just make sure it is all where it needs to be. Cantor, will you lead us in a song while I do this?
כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו.
Hey, we have not been leading services in this space or in person in over a year. We're getting a little rusty, but all of us, thank you for bearing with us a little bit. So I would love to invite up for our first aliyah. We have Cole Jacobs who'll be leading us. Yamod Yisrael Moshe ben Sarah la'aliyah Rishona.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarah.
ברוך אדוני ומבורך לעולם ועד.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Ba'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim Ve'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Vayedaber Elohim et Kol Hadavarim Ha'ele Lemor. Anohi Adonai Elohecha Asher Hotzeiticha Me'eretz Mitzrayim Mi Beit Avadim. Lo Yehiyeh Lecha Elohim Ahirim Al Panai. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet V'chaye Olam Nata Betohenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Yasher Koach. For our second aliyah, we call up Sarah Takami. Ta'amod Sararina Bat Livad aliyah. Shanit. Wow. Yeah. God. See it right there.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarah. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim Ve'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Lo ta'aseh lecha v'asel b'chol temunah asher bashamayim mimal ba'asher ba'aretz mitachat b'asher b'mayim mitachat la'aretz. Lo tishtachaveh lahem velo tovtem ki anochi Adonai Elohecha Elkanah poked avon avot abanim al sheleshim ve'arebeim leshonai ve'osei chesed le'alafim lo havai u'shomrei mitzvotai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natan betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yasher Koach. For our third Aliyah, we have Eli Weisschmidt. Yamod Eliyahu Yosef ben Ariel v'chonor la'aliyah shlishi.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorah Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher baharbanu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Lo tisa et shem Adonai Elohecha lashav ki lo yinakel Adonai et asher yisa et shemo lashav zachor et yom hashabbat lekadsho sheshet yamim tahabod v'asita kol melatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yasher Koach. That's why it's here. I'd like to call up Sarah Gill for our next Aliyah. Ta'amod, Sarah Naomi Batlea Mechala La'aliyah Revi'i.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
V'yom hashvi'i Shabbat l'Adonai Elohecha. Lo ta'aseh kol melacha ata ubincha uvitecha avdecha ve'amata uvechemtecha וגרך אשר בשעריך, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, את הים ואת כל אשר בם, ויענה ביום השביעי. על כן ברך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו. כבד את אביך ואת אמך, למען יאריכון ימיך על האדמה אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
Yes. For our fifth Aliyah, we call up Maxine Lee. Tamod Yohana Bat Yaakov Aliyah Chamishi.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamborah Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'chabarnu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Lo tirtzah, lo tinach, lo tignov, lo ta'anei re'aha ad shaker, lo takmod beit re'aha, lo takmod eshet re'aha, ve'avdo v'amato, v'shoro v'hamoro, v'kol asher l're'aha, v'kol ha'am, rohim et akolot, ואת הלפידים, ואת כל השופר, ואת ההר, השן, וירא העם, ויענו, ויעמדו מרחוק. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
Amen.
Beautiful job. And finally, we invite up Aaron Alpern. Yambod Aharon ben Vidachaya La'aliyah Shishi.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorah Leolam Vaed. Baruch Adonai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'harbanu mikol hamim, ve'noten lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayomeru el Moshe, daber ata imanu, v'nishma'a, ve'al yidaber imanu. Elohim pen namut. Vayomer Moshe el ha'am, al tirahu, ki levavor nasot ethem, ba Elohim uvavor tihye yirato al penehem levilti tehatau. Vayomor ha'am yirato Moshe nigash al ha'arafel asher shah ha'elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher naharbanu
Asher Natan Lanu
natan lanu
Torat
tonat emet behaye
olam.
v'na'aman. Olam nata betohenu baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yisrael.
You may be seated. And this is not easy Torah to chant because usually there is like the Friday night kind of Torah trope, but this is actually Torah Ha'elyon, the higher trope. So it's much more ornate. For each of these students to learn this trope, to be able to chant so beautifully, was not an easy task. It just shows how much dedication each and every one of you truly have. So I'd like to offer this blessing for all of you on this wonderful occasion. When the Israelites gathered at the foot of Mount Sinai to receive the Torah, they rejoiced, exclaiming, Nasa, Nasa v'nishma, we will do and we will understand. So great was their anticipation that they pledged themselves to follow God even before knowing precisely what was being asked of them. Since that moment, we Jews have been saying first, Na'aseh, we shall do, and then Nishma, we shall understand. Our affinity with our Israelite ancestors inspires us to continue to embrace our heritage, and every generation carrying words of Torah on our lips and in our hearts. Through learning, we are taught the language of our people Hebrew. We are inspired to observe Jewish customs and to ponder Jewish ideas even before our minds are ripe enough to understand them. But for this heritage to take deep root in our hearts, we must continually strive to hear the commands of our religion and learn to appreciate its beautiful teachings. Whatever the circumstances that lead us to this sacred space, we must all pledge to become Jews by choice. We look to you now, our confirmands, as you take your place as guardians of this sacred heritage, to carry forth God's life and truth into the world. Thus can you help our people to answer the prophetic call to be a light unto the nations and to inspire your peers, your family, and everyone you meet to engage in the task of tikkun olam, of repairing the world, in partnership, working with God for the betterment of our world. And together all of us can say, Amen. I'd like to offer you the words of the priestly benediction, these words that were all offered to you if you had a bris or a baby naming, that were offered to you when you became bar bat mitzvah. These words that will hopefully be offered to you many, many times in the future. I have the blessing of being able to offer them to you now. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. May God's light shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you feel God's presence with you always, and may you always find peace. And together, let us all say, Amen. We finally turn to our last teaching, our last confirmation drash, and that is from Aaron Alpern.
There are some ties that bond generations across the ages. My Jewish journey has been one where I've attempted to strengthen these bonds through building a stronger connection with my past and exploring my self-identity. I've come to learn throughout my Jewish education that being a Jew is more than a religion because it has a common culture, lineage, and traditions. The realization has set in that I will be a Jew until the day I die. That is not the question. The question is, what will I make of it? Learning about my ancestry has given me a sense of feeling connected to something greater than myself. Beyond feeling accepted into a larger community of Jews, the most important thing I've learned is how to cope with my place in society. I've often asked myself the questions like, is my impact on the world making a difference? We have had discussions about the answers to some of these philosophical questions like this throughout my years in Torah school. This was always my favorite part of going to Torah school because I learned so much from hearing different people's perspectives. In one of these discussions around the time of the holiday Tu B'Shvat, our confirmation class talked about the story of Honi the circle maker. The story stood out to me as one that held the most value to me. The story goes something like this. One day, Honi was journeying on a road and saw somebody planting a carob tree, and he asked, "How long does it take this tree to bear fruit?" The person replied, 70 years. Honi was taken aback that the person was planting a tree and he would never reap the benefits of it directly. The person planting the carob tree simply responded to Honi's surprise with, "I found these carob trees planted for me by my forefathers. So too, I plant for the next generation." Honi then fell into a deep slumber for the next 70 years. When he awoke, he saw the same tree, fully grown with fruit on it. Honi saw a person gathering fruit at the base of the tree and asked him, "Are you the man who planted this tree?" The man replied, "No, but I am his grandson." Even though 70 years can seem like a long time for one person, with a larger and longer perspective on history, it is really just a blink of an eye. It is important to make decisions while factoring in longer-term implications and not just considering what is immediately in front of us. It is our responsibility to take care of future generations, just as previous generations have tried to take care of us. The celebration of Tu B'Shvat is more than a celebration of the trees. It celebrates the significance of planting that carob tree. Taking care of the earth for future generations is just one of the many Jewish values I've learned and treasured while being a confirmand and student at Temple Bethel. Finally, I want to thank Rabbi Cassie Cantor-Elon and all the teachers that have helped me reach this point. I also want to thank my mom for making the long drives out to San Pedro every Sunday so I could learn more about Judaism. Without everyone's collective efforts, I wouldn't have been able to have any of these amazing experiences. So thank you to everyone that has contributed to me getting to this point.
Such powerful words, right? And I think every single one of you today who have spoken have given us powerful words of connection to reflect on, powerful words of motivation about how we can be our best selves and make a big difference. Getting to this moment has not been easy for any of us, because this past year has been so unexpected and so difficult in so many ways we never could have predicted. And yet all of you are here. It feels really appropriate that this is the first service back in our synagogue after so long, because each of you as confirmands, you are confirming your faith. You are also confirming your strength and our collective strength. This is a holiday filled with celebration because of each of you, because of our Torah, and because of all the teachings that we can collectively glean from it. Very often we focus on the giving of the Torah on Shavuot, as well we should. But I think there's something else that might be really important to focus on as well, which is going into the promised land, going into the land of Israel. For the past 7 weeks, as you know, we've been walking through the Omer. We've been working from the holiday of Passover, and we've been going towards the holiday of Shavuot, and we've been saying, what's it going to be like when we arrive there? And the thing is that when the Israelites are entering the promised land, there they too are a little bit nervous about what's going to happen when they enter this land that they have been looking forward to for so long, but they didn't quite know exactly what to expect. And God says two words that whenever I hear these 2 words, I think of all 6 of you, I think of everyone in this room, I think of our entire congregation. And those 2 words are chazak ve'ematz, which means be strong and resolute. And this past year, you have been strong and resolute. We grow stronger and more resolute with each passing day because of the commitment we have to our Judaism and to one another. And so I just want to offer you such congratulations on everything that you have done and everything that you have left yet to do. Each one of you is an incredible blessing, and it has been an absolute privilege to work with all of you as confirmands each time that we've met over this past year, to hear your words of Torah. At times in the beginning, it took a little bit to get it out of you, but toward the end, each of you offered such wisdom, and we heard that today. So thank you, and I look forward to studying with you in the future. And right now, I know there are a few people who would like to say a couple words to all of you for congratulations, and you're going to be getting gifts as well. The very first of these, of course, are these confirmation certificates that you'll be getting right after services. But right now, I want to call upon, yes, a mom of one of you, but also a teacher of all of you. I'd like to call up Lisa Weiss.
So I've been told not to cry, so I'll do my best. So, from Half Pint Torah School, bar, and bat mitzvahs, to now confirmation. These kids have been on a journey individually and together, using their Jewish education and values to hopefully make a difference in this world and in their lives. And even though they will always be our babies, now's the point where I'm not supposed to cry, I cannot be more proud, not only of my son Eli, but the rest of these wonderful young adults who have persevered through the challenges they have encountered and have been a part of Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. Mazel tov to you all. So coupled with those thoughts, as a board member of Sisterhood, I would like to present each of you with a Bible, as it is a tradition that goes back as far as when I was a confirmant and even before then. Mazel tov. And is this it right here, Rabbi Cassie? This is the Bible that each one of the kids is going to take home. Mazel tov.
Mazal tov. Thank you so much, Lisa. And next, I'd like to call up our Director of Education, Randy Scher.
It is my privilege to present to each of you this book. It's called Here All Along, Finding Meaning, Spirituality, and a Deeper Connection to Life in Judaism. And it's a wonderful book about a writer who took this experience in her life and went through, and from her learning was able to connect to Judaism in a very different way from when she was younger. So congratulations, this has been a lovely service, and I'm very proud of all of you. And you should be very proud of yourselves too.
So every teacher should have the opportunity to have a confirmation ceremony and be able to hear their students and see and know how they've grown. For almost all of you, I have known you since your birth. And that is an incredible gift. An incredible gift. We joined together in the Half Pint Chavurah, where you spent these incredible times together baking chalot, making them into all kinds of different shapes and sizes. Going out to lunch afterwards, those were the days, weren't they? Then I got the opportunity to teach you in the 8th and 9th grades, as Rabbi Cassie has experienced this year with you in the 10th grade. And what a gift it is to experience your wisdom, because that's what we get to experience as your teachers. What most teachers don't get to experience that we got to experience today is hearing from your own mouths what has remained with you from our teachings. Hearing you re-utter the same words that we uttered to you in our classrooms, that we taught you, hoping that maybe some of it'll stick. You have been on a journey, and that journey, some might say, is only just beginning. Some of you might think, oh, thank goodness we're done with this journey of Torah school. But that journey of your Jewish lives are only just beginning. And I love the fact, Aaron, that you spoke about choni, because every one of you has the ability and the opportunity to be a choni. To be, if you look over on that wall right over there, that I just lit up the Zebulon recipient board. The Zebulon is an award that this temple gives. It is the highest honor that this temple gives to our congregants. Not just for their gifts to the temple, but for their gifts outside of the temple, for their dedication to the community and society. And each one of you, if you take the words that you spoke today on this journey with you, and you make them action and not just words, each one of you will be a choni. Each one of you will be a Zebulon. Each one of you will be worthy of such high praise and such high honor. And so I offer you this blessing now as you embark on this journey of your Jewish adult lives. May you be blessed as you go on your way. May you be guided in peace. May you be blessed with health and joy. May this be your blessing. Amen. 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 May this be your blessing. Amen. 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 May this be your blessing. Amen. May you be sheltered by the wings of peace. May you be kept in safety and in so much love. May grace and compassion find its way from your soul to every soul. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. are our blessings.
There are so many people who wish that they could be here for you today and be here physically with you today. So instead, some members of our Board of Education and members of our Torah School got together in order to create this slideshow.
Holy, 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 Adonai, our blessing above. Fill my heart with love, soft and strong, a voice from within, a song of peace in the wind. Holy, 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 holy. May the darkness within disappear with the faith that you're always near, like a mountain born from the sea. The spark of God within me. Holy, 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 holy.
What a blessing. Right now, we're going to transition a little bit as we take in those beautiful memories in order to offer words of healing. Healing for our worlds, healing for everyone who's in need of healing of mind, healing of body, or healing of spirit. To be able to come together as a community and offer these prayers is also a blessing.
Avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishebeirach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim. Blessed are you, God, whose healing presence is with all of those in need, to which we also, Amen.
Amen. Time for you to rise in body or spirit.
It's up to us to call ourselves to task, to sing what's good and true, to bring about redemption is what we were free to do. For what's the point of being here if we're not moved to change our ways? Aleinu leshabeach, it's time to live our praise. It's up to us to own the vision. We are an answer to a call. It's up to us to live the words we speak for benefit of all. It's up to us to bow down deeply. There's a broken world to raise. Aleinu leshabeach, it's time to live our praise. Aleinu leshabeach, it's time to live our praise.
And indeed, all of you have showed us exactly what that can look like. We turn to our Mourner's Kaddish on page 598 in our books, or of course on our screens, to offer words of memory for people who are no longer with us, but whose legacy still remains on our hearts. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach cherutei v'yamluch malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon, uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'gala u'bizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivrach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yanaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Damiram v'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru Amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. And as we go into the words of Oseh Shalom, if you're here with someone in your family unit, feel free to put your arms around them. And if not, you can do what I'm doing and place your hand on your heart.
Oseh Shalom b'mromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. It's the first sway. Oseh shalom b'mromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'mromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Chag Sameach and Mazel Tov.
And I want to let everyone know who's online and everyone here, in just a few minutes, we're going to make it so that the screen is there so that everyone who's online, you can actually offer words of Mazel Tov to our phenomenal confirmands that we have here. We just need to give Tony a couple of minutes to switch over, but we will be able to do that.
was that?
Mazal tov.
Start video.
Oh, yes, handhelds. All right, if you're there on Zoom and joining us on Zoom, how wonderful to see you guys. And now our confirmands can see many of you. And we're going to leave these microphones here so that they can talk to you as well. And you can talk to them. If you speak, they will hear you. So feel free to unmute and talk to them as well. Oh, hold on. Maybe not yet.
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, this one's okay. This one's not. You got it. That one's working. That one's bad for some reason.
You're speaking, so get ready.
So those of you that are on Zoom, I think they can unmute and speak, right? And we can hear them?
Yeah.
We can hear you if you speak now.
Can you hear me?
Mazel tov, Sarah, and the
Congratulations to
rest of your
everyone.
class. Well done, well done.
Yeah, beautiful, Sarah. Hi, sweetie.
Well,
Sarah.
Mazel tov, Eli.
Mazel tov, Cole.
Eli.
Congratulations, Cole. We love you.
Mazel tov.
Great job.
Great job.
Mazel tov to everyone.
Sarah, I'm so proud of you. You did such a
were wonderful. Great job, everyone.
Great job, guys.
Joe.
good job, well done.
Congratulations.
Maxine. Wonderful job. We love you in Baltimore.
Eli.
Great job, Eli. I'm
you.
impressed. Kill it. Teacher Linda's proud of you all.
Great job,
everyone.
Amazing job, guys.
Great
Yeah, fabulous, fabulous.
Awesome, Cole.
Hey there,
You
it's
did
a
a great
comment.
job.
You just got
Terrific.
a picture.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, honeys. Hi. Lovely service. Beautiful service.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Mazel tov, all you guys. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you for inviting us.
This
So
group
great to
gave
see
me
the
hope that we're in
sanctuary
good
and you
hands in the future.
again.
Enjoyed.
Mazel tov. Great job.
Mazel tov, and carry on the tradition of coming back for future confirmations and kvelling with all of us.
Coming back.
Yeah, go out there and change the world.
We already have.
Changing.
Lisa, you should be very proud of your son. He's terrific. I'm impressed, so impressed.
Yay, Phyllis. He takes after his Bubby and Zeta.
Yeah.
True.
Mazel tov, everybody.
Mazel tov,
Fantastic.
Sarah, Eli, Cole, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wonderful.
Mazel tov, you guys. It's so wonderful to see you all there. Waving
Beautiful
and
service,
singing.
Rabbi and Cantor. Beautiful service.
Yes.
It's nice to see the temple.
It was wonderful to be with you and learn from each of you. Yasher